Life has a way of testing the strength of our relationships. When things are easy, when blessings are abundant, and when everything is going according to plan, it may seem as though you are surrounded by people who care for you. But when the storms of life come, and they will come, that is when you see the true nature of those around you. God, in his infinite wisdom, allows trials to enter our lives, not to destroy us, but to reveal what is hidden. He knows the human heart better than we ever could. He sees beyond words and outward appearances. And when we walk with him, he will use difficulties to uncover who is genuine and who is not. Look at the life of Job. He was a man who was righteous before God, blessed with wealth, health, and a family that surrounded him. His life seemed secure, and those around him likely admired his success. But when suffering struck, when he lost his children, his wealth, and even his health, what happened? The people he once trusted turned against him. His friends, the ones who sat in his home and shared in his joy, suddenly began to question his character. They accused him, criticized him, and instead of comforting him, they brought words that added to his pain. Even his wife, the one who was supposed to stand by him, told him to curse God and die. Why did God allow this? Was it because Job had done something wrong? No. God was revealing what was hidden. The trial exposed the hearts of those around Job. It showed that some people only stay close when things are going well, but the moment hardship appears, their true nature is revealed. Job's suffering was not just a test of his own faith, it was a test of those around him. And through that test, God separated the genuine from the false. This principle applies to us today. We may have people in our lives who appear supportive, who say the right things, who claim to have our best interests at heart, but how many of them will remain when we are struggling? How many will stand by us when we have nothing to offer? How many will continue to walk with us when our situation no longer benefits them? God allows us to go through seasons of hardship to answer these questions. He is not trying to harm us. He is protecting us from those who would harm us. Jesus himself faced this. He had crowds following him wherever he went. People listened to his words, received his miracles, and shouted his name in admiration. But when the time of testing came, when he was arrested, beaten, and nailed to the cross, where were they? The same people who had cried Hosanna days before were now shouting, crucify him. His own disciples, the men who had walked with him for years, fled in fear. Peter, the one who had boldly declared his loyalty, denied even knowing him. If Jesus experienced this, why should we expect any different? If the Son of God himself was betrayed, abandoned, and falsely accused, then we as his followers will face the same. But just as God had a purpose for Jesus' suffering, he has a purpose for ours. The betrayal and abandonment he experienced were all part of God's greater plan. It was through this trial that salvation was brought to the world. When people walk away from you, when those you trusted turn their backs, do not be discouraged. Do not chase after those whom God is removing. Instead, recognize that he is protecting you. He is revealing who is truly for you and who is not. He is showing you who has been standing beside you with sincerity and who has only been there out of convenience. Think about a tree in the fall. When the season changes, the leaves begin to fall. You may try to hold on to them, but they will fall regardless because they were never meant to stay. They were only there for a season. In the same way, some people are only in your life for a season. When the winds of trial blow, they will fall away. And that is God's way of making room for something new. The lesson is this: do not fear when God allows trials to come into your life, because he is using them to reveal truth. Some of the people you are crying over were never truly for you. Some of the relationships you are desperately trying to hold on to are only holding you back from what God has for you. If someone can walk away from you in your time of need, let them go. If someone chooses to betray your trust when you are struggling, see it as a blessing, because now you know who they truly are. But remember this: while people may leave, God never will. When everyone else abandoned Job, God remained. When Jesus was forsaken by man, the Father had a greater plan. And when you feel alone, betrayed, or disappointed, know that God is still with you. He is the one friend who will never turn his back, the one who will never leave you nor forsake you. Trust him, and he will surround you with the right people in the right season. There is a gift that comes from walking closely with God, a gift that allows you to see beyond words, beyond actions, and into the true nature of a person's heart. That gift is discernment. It is not something that can be obtained through human wisdom alone. It is not a skill that can be learned through experience or observation. True discernment comes from the Spirit of God, and it is one of the ways He protects His children from deception. When you seek God, when you remain in His Word and in prayer, He sharpens your spirit to recognize the difference between what is real and what is false. Many people can put on a mask. They can say the right things, quote scripture, and appear to be good, faithful, and kind. They may even seem to be a blessing in your life, but not everyone who stands with you is standing for you. Not everyone who calls you brother or sister has good intention. Some people enter your life not to build, but to break, not to support, but to take advantage. And without discernment, you may never recognize them until it's too late. This is why prayer is so important. When you stay close to God, He will give you warning signs. He will put an uneasiness in your spirit about certain people. He will allow situations to arise that expose their true motives. Sometimes He will give you a direct revelation showing you something you could not have seen on your own. How many times have you looked back and said, I should have listened to that feeling in my heart? That was not just a feeling. That was God trying to show you the truth. The Bible tells us to test the spirits, to examine people not just by their words, but by their fruit. A tree may look healthy on the outside, but if the fruit it produces is rotten, then the tree itself is bad. In the same way, a person may present themselves as trustworthy, but if their actions do not align with righteousness, then their heart is not pure. Someone may constantly speak of love, but do they act in love? Someone may declare their loyalty, but do they remain faithful when tested? True character is not shown in comfort, but in conflict. Jesus Himself gave us this wisdom when He said, by their fruits you shall know them. If someone constantly sows division, if they bring more confusion than peace, if they manipulate, deceive, or gossip, then that is their fruit. And no matter how much they try to cover it, no matter how convincing they may be, the truth will eventually come to the surface. A wolf may dress in sheep's clothing, but a wolf cannot produce the heart of a sheep. This is why discernment is not just an advantage, it is a necessity. There are people who are assigned by the enemy to derail your destiny. There are those who come into your life not by God's will, but by the enemy's plan. Their words may be sweet, their company may seem pleasant, but their purpose is to lead you astray. Some will try to plant doubt in your heart, making you question your calling. Others will encourage compromise, leading you away from righteousness step by step. And some will pretend to support you, only to secretly work against you. Without discernment, you may never see their influence until they have done damage. But here is the good news. God never leaves His children blind. If you ask Him for wisdom, He will give it to you. If you seek His guidance, He will direct your steps. And when you are unsure, when you feel uncertain about someone's presence in your life, do not lean on your own understanding. Bring it before the Lord. He sees what you cannot see. He knows what is hidden. And if someone is not meant to be in your life, He will reveal it. And when God shows you the truth, listen, do not ignore the warnings. Do not allow emotions or attachments to override the voice of God. Some people remain in toxic relationships, damaging friendships, or unhealthy environments simply because they refuse to accept what God has already revealed. They try to change what God is trying to remove. But understand this, when God exposes someone's true nature, He is not asking for your opinion. He is giving you direction. He is showing you the truth so that you can walk in wisdom. This is why separation is often a part of spiritual growth. There are seasons in your life when God will remove people, not because they are necessarily bad, but because they cannot go where He is taking you. If you hold on to someone God is trying to remove, you may delay your own purpose. Imagine trying to climb a mountain while carrying unnecessary weight. The higher you go, the harder it becomes to move forward. Some people are extra weight. They were with you at one level, but they cannot come with you to the next. Look at the story of Abraham and Lot. God called Abraham to a higher place, but Lot was not meant to be part of the journey. Yeah, Abraham brought him along, and what happened? Strife, conflict, confusion. The land could not even sustain them both. Eventually, they had to separate, and only after Abraham let Lot go did God show him the full extent of His promise. Some blessings will not be revealed until you obey God's direction to separate. When people leave, when relationships end, when God removes someone from your life, do not fight against it. Trust that He knows what He is doing. He sees what you do not see, and He is always working for your good. It may hurt, it may be difficult, but in time, you will look back and realize that God was protecting you all along. Some of the people you thought you needed were actually holding you back. Some of the ones you wanted to keep close were never truly for you. And when God takes them away, it is only to bring you closer to his plan. So stay close to him. Ask for discernment. Pay attention when he speaks, because when God reveals the truth, he is not trying to hurt you. He is trying to set you free. And when he removes someone from your life, he is making room for something greater. Trust him and you will never be deceived. There are moments in life when people unexpectedly walk away. Friends you thought would always be there suddenly turn their backs. Relationships you invested in crumble without warning. Sometimes it happens quietly. Someone slowly drifts away. Other times it happens painfully, with betrayal or rejection cutting deep. In these moments, you may wonder, why would God allow this? What did I do wrong? But what if the loss is not a curse, but a blessing? What if the separation is not for your harm, but for your growth? God knows the path he has set before you. He knows your destiny, and he understands the weight of the calling on your life. There are some places you are meant to go that others cannot follow. There are some heights you are meant to reach that certain people will only hold you back from. When God begins to elevate you, he will also begin to separate you. It may be painful, but it is necessary. Throughout scripture, we see this principle at work. When God called Abraham, he told him to leave his country, his people, and his father's household. Abraham had to step away from everything familiar in order to step into God's promise. But Abraham made a mistake. He brought Lot with him. And as long as Lot was in Abraham's life, there was conflict, there was strife, and there was limitation. It was only after Abraham and Lot finally separated that God gave Abraham the full vision of what he had planned for him. Some people in your life are like Lot. They are not necessarily bad, but they cannot go where God is taking you. As long as they are with you, they will bring confusion, delay, and unnecessary weight. You may not understand it now, but God sees the road ahead. He knows what must be removed in order for you to reach your destiny. If you insist on holding on to the wrong people, you may be delaying the very blessing you have been praying for. Sometimes God does not even wait for you to let go. He allows them to leave. He removes them himself. And when that happens, do not fight to keep what God is trying to take away. If a friendship suddenly turns cold, if a relationship comes to an unexpected end, if people you trusted walk away without explanation, take a step back and ask, is God shifting something in my life? Because not every loss is truly a loss. Some people leave because their part in your story is over. Some doors close because greater ones are meant to open. Joseph experienced this firsthand. He was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery by those who should have loved him. Imagine the pain of that moment. Standing among people you trusted, only to realize they were willing to throw you away for their own gain. But what looked like a betrayal was actually a setup for something greater. If Joseph had stayed with his brothers, he never would have reached the palace. Their rejection was the very thing that positioned him for the blessing God had in store. God will often allow rejection to be your redirect. If Joseph had tried to hold on to his brothers, if he had fought to stay in a place where he was no longer wanted, he would have missed the calling on his life. In the same way, there are some relationships, some friendships, some connections that God himself is shutting down, not because he is punishing you, but because he is preparing you. He is taking you higher, and not everyone can go where he is leading you. The truth is, some people only love you when you are at their level. As long as you remain the same, as long as you do not outgrow them, they are comfortable. But the moment God begins to increase you, the moment he starts elevating your calling, your purpose, your anointing, suddenly they change. They begin to distance themselves. They begin to resent your growth. Some will even try to sabotage what God is doing in your life because they were never truly for you. They were only for the version of you that served their needs. That is why God allows separation. He does it to protect you. He does it to remove distractions. He does it so you do not become entangled in relationships that will eventually hinder your purpose. If you have been praying for a breakthrough, if you have been asking God to take you to the next level, do not be surprised if he starts removing people from your life. It is part of the process. Think about a rocket. When it is launched, it carries boosters that help it rise, but there comes a point when those boosters must fall away. If they remain attached, they will weigh the rocket down, preventing it from reaching the heights it was designed for. In the same way, some people were only meant to be part of your journey for a season. They helped you grow. They were part of your story, but now their purpose in your life is complete. If you try to hold on to them, you will only slow yourself down. So when God separates you from certain people, trust him. Do not waste time mourning over what he has removed. Do not chase after relationships that are no longer meant to be. Instead, fix your eyes on what he is doing, because for every person he removes, he is preparing the right people to enter your life. For every door he closes, he is opening something greater. And for every painful goodbye, he is leading you closer to his perfect will. It may not make sense now, it may hurt, but one day you will look back and realize that what felt like a loss was actually a rescue. What seemed like rejection was actually divine protection. And what you thought was a setback was really a setup for something far greater than you could have imagined. So trust the process. Trust the separation. Trust that when God removes, he also restores. And when he takes something away, it is always because he is preparing something better. One of the hardest things to accept in life is that not everyone around you has good intentions. Some people wear masks, pretending to care while secretly working against you. They may smile in your face, but harbor jealousy in their hearts. They may applaud your success in public, but secretly resent your blessings. And the difficult truth is that sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the ones closest to you. But God, in his infinite wisdom, does not allow their deception to last forever. In his perfect time, he exposes the hearts of those who are not truly for you. God sees what we cannot see. He hears the conversations that happen behind closed doors. He knows the thoughts that people hide. While we judge by what we can see and hear, God looks at the heart. And when someone in your life is pretending to be something they are not, he will reveal the truth. He may do it through a situation that forces their true nature to come out. He may allow them to slip up and say something that exposes their real feelings. He may cause circumstances to arise that show you who they really are. However he chooses to do it, one thing is certain: God will not allow you to remain in the dark forever. Judas was one of Jesus's 12 disciples. He walked with him, talked with him, and sat at his table. Outwardly, he looked like a faithful follower just like the others, but inwardly, his heart was never truly with Jesus. He was stealing from the money bag. He was plotting in secret, and in the end, he betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. But notice this: Jesus was never deceived. He knew all along who Judas was. He knew that the man sitting at his table eating with him was not truly for him. Yet he allowed him to remain until the appointed time. And when the moment came, Judas revealed himself. This is how God works in our lives as well. He may allow certain people to stay for a time, but when their season is up, when their true heart needs to be exposed, he will let them reveal themselves. That betrayal you did not see coming, God saw it. That friend who turned on you when you needed them most, God knew it would happen. That person who suddenly changed, who began treating you differently, who spoke against you behind your back, none of it was hidden from God. And when the time was right, he allowed their true nature to be revealed. But here is where many people struggle. When God exposes someone, they refuse to accept it. They try to hold on. They make excuses for the person. They say, maybe I misunderstood, or maybe they didn't mean it. But understand this: when God reveals the truth, he does it for your protection. He does not show you who someone really is just so you can ignore it. If someone has been pretending, if someone has been working against you in secret, if someone's heart has been wrong toward you all along, why would you want to keep them in your life? One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to fix what God is trying to remove. They keep reaching out to the very people God exposed. They try to mend relationships that were never meant to last. They try to make peace with people who were never truly at peace with them. But sometimes the best thing you can do when God exposes someone is to walk away. Do not argue. Do not try to change their heart. Do not waste your energy trying to make things right with someone who was never right for you in the first place. Accept what God has shown you and move forward. It is also important to understand that when God exposes someone, it is not always dramatic. Sometimes he does it through small things. An offhand comment, a shift in behavior, a moment of dishonesty. If you are paying attention, you will see the signs. But if you ignore them, if you continue to hold on, you may find yourself wounded in the end. This is why discernment is crucial. When God begins to show you who someone really is, listen, if he is giving you a warning about someone's intentions, do not brush it off. If he is making you uncomfortable about a certain person, do not ignore that feeling. That is not paranoia. That is God protecting you. God is a loving father. He does not want his children to walk blindly into harm. He does not want you to waste your energy on relationships that are not from him. He wants you to be surrounded by people who truly love, support, and encourage you. That is why he reveals fake people, not to hurt you, but to free you, to open your eyes so that you can invest in the right relationships, to remove those who would betray you so that you are not wounded later, to make space for the people he has truly assigned to your life. The pain of betrayal is real, but so is the protection of God. If someone has been exposed in your life, do not see it as a loss, see it as a blessing. Because if they were fake, if they were never truly for you, then their presence was only delaying what God wanted to do in your life. Let them go. Trust God's revelation and know that when he removes someone, it is always for your good. People may deceive others, but they can never deceive God. They may hide their true intentions for a while, but sooner or later, the truth always comes out. So do not be discouraged when God reveals who someone really is. Do not be bitter. Do not seek revenge. Simply recognize that God is on your side and he is guiding your steps. He is clearing your path. He is making sure that only the right people have access to your heart. And when God closes a door, do not stand there knocking. Walk forward with faith, because for every Judas, there is a Peter who will stand with you. For every betrayer, there is a true friend who will remain. And for every loss, there is a greater gain in store. Trust God's exposure. Trust his removal. And most of all, trust that he is always working for your good.